Not likely a game that's going to be involving college football playoff teams, but it still matters. Why? Because LSU's a slip up away from potentially being in a spot to relinquish the SEC West crown. So, who could potentially be in position to seize said crown? It would be the winner of Alabama and Ole Miss. Ole Miss, of course, just one loss in the SEC right now. Alabama comes to town. Alabama 2 losses in the SEC. We know LSU has just 1 loss, but if they go on the road and lose to Arkansas at 11 o'clock, guess what? This game will be kicking off at 3:30, 2:30 local. Knowing the outcome of that game might very well have an impact on the SEC West race after all. And remember, LSU is slight favorite, just a slight favorite on the road at Arkansas. So an upset's not totally out of the question. I'll be on the call for it. So shameless plug. Hope you're watching. They're 11 o'clock Central Time on ESPN. LSU at Arkansas. So look forward to being on the call for that one. But if you look at this, man, Alabama has had their hands full at times with some run game stuff. Now, quarterback run has hurt them. Also, deep ball passing has hurt them. And Jackson Dart hasn't really consistently been able to show the ability to really take advantage down the field. He's been hit or miss. He's hit some downfield throws, but not to the same extent as Matt Corral did in years previous, or even other quarterbacks that have been able to take advantage of Alabama's secondary. It's oftentimes has come down the field. But if you think about Lane Kiffin and you think about this offense, they have at times given Alabama fits. Now, it was a couple years ago, and it was with John Rice Plumlee at the helm. Ironically enough, we just talked about John Rice Plumlee's new team, the UCF Knights. But he has, of course, he spent, Lane Kiffin has, he spent all offseason thinking of ways to be better, more effective, and better at attacking this Alabama defense. Last year, remember, it just wasn't meant to be. They didn't even come close, really. I mean, the defense, for the most part, shut them down really from start to finish. Now, a lot of their counter run game, a lot of them creating numbers in the run game, that's going to be of the utmost importance. And if you think that Alabama is going to just fold their tent, I personally don't think that'll happen. I think you're going to get a great effort from Alabama in a game that should still mean an awful lot, especially if LSU falters in the SEC West standings. So a massive one there in Oxford, Mississippi at 2:30 Central Time on CBS. There's a bunch of other games, I might add. There's a whole bunch. We probably have like 10 or 12 games this weekend. You're probably going to look at the schedule this week and say, it's not that sexy. Yeah, but you really dive in. I mean, there's some dangerous, potentially tricky spots for a lot of these teams. And a lot of games right now, by the way. I mean, look at the Big Ten West. And we'll go through that whole division at some point here in the next day or two. That whole division is up for grabs. I mean, completely up for grabs. So many teams with 3 losses. I mean, there's a bunch of other divisions that are very much up for debate as well. Pac-12 has a 3-horse race for the Pac-12 championship crown. You also have Big 12 where TCU, the leading team in the Big 12, goes on the road to Texas as a 7-point dog. Like, there's a lot to take into account this weekend. So a lot to get to, but that's just a couple games that we've kind of circled and we kind of have our eye on that we're going to get to a little bit more later on in the week.